My guest today is Sheila Gale, and she's talking about her book, which has just been released in the last month or so, Dottie Flowers and the Skinner Gang. Sheila, when you go into a bookstore and when you see other people's books for sale there, well, and this may have already happened to you. You may see yours on the shelf now. But did you, in leading up to that, did you ever have those dreams where you think, boy, I can just see my book there?
Of course, yes. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that you have a good book cover. I think that's one of the things that strikes you when you go into a bookstore. 'Cause unless you're going in with a specific book in mind, you are often attracted by the actual look of the book, and obviously you need to read a bit about it and so on. But I've been put off by the cover of a book, so, or encouraged to buy.
I totally agree with you that when I go into a bookstore and I pick them up and I look for things that are intriguing to me, and I have my little area that I like to read, and yeah, I think book cover is really important. Just to switch gears a little bit, what kind of books do you like to read the most?
Well, I'm a member of a book club, and so we have a wide variety of books, and the books that we're currently concentrating on is one called Room, and one called Water for Elephants, which is a well-known book, and also The Help, and I've enjoyed all three of them. They're very, very good books. And if I'm choosing them myself, I like to choose a book that's perhaps a little heavier, and then also a very light book. So I've got two books on the go. So.
Depends what kind of mood you're in,
It
or how
depends,
tired you are.
Sometimes I go for a Nora Roberts romance for the light one.
Yeah.
Depending on how heavy the other book happens to be, how heavy I'm finding it to read. So.
I do the same thing. I'm a real lover of historical fiction, but sometimes I just want something really easy, and so Nora Roberts or something like that.
Yeah,
Yes, for
right.
sure. What or who gives you the energy to keep going when the blocks come, or do you have writing blocks?
I haven't had a major writing block so far. I hope that doesn't happen, really. I really hope so, touch wood. Yeah. But what helps me tremendously is my husband, because he does so much. He enjoys it, but he cooks, and he does the laundry, and he does the shopping, and he's very much in tune with what I need in terms of time. So I'm very fortunate in that regard. I'm sure I wouldn't get nearly as much writing done if it wasn't for him. So there you go. And this launch, he was just tremendous. He's my business advisor as well, which I need, quite badly. So yeah, I guess that's probably, where I get a lot of my energy from is his help. Yeah.
That really takes us to the idea of being a writer today is not just that you sit in your little attic garret and you write. Tell us about some of the other things that you have to do in order to be a successful writer.
Well, I think it helps if you're not afraid to read to in public or make presentations, because I think that's part of it now. For example, the launch itself. It takes, you have to be sociable and so on and so forth with people. If some of the things I do, I sometimes go to give readings at cafes, and that helps as well. I think that's important to have self-confidence. We're not, as you say, we're not hidden away in an attic anymore. I think it's important that writers do have self-confidence, that they can go in front of the camera confidently, go on the radio confidently, and so on, be interviewed for newspaper articles and so on. I think that helps a lot.
And your background helps with that.
Yes, it does. My teaching background, yeah.
Do you want to tell us where you taught or what you did?
Yeah, I was a professor at Sheridan College and in the business department, and so I obviously had to be organized for my classes and teaching, and anyone who teaches knows that you have to be organized and be able to stand and you have to do things on the spur of the moment and so on and so forth. So all those things help to develop your self-confidence.
So that, we've kind of touched on this, but it leads into how difficult was it to launch this new book?
Well, yes, well, I've thrown a lot away now. I had a rejection file this big and an acceptance file that big. So I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. You have to develop a thick skin because, when you submit, you have to spend quite a lot of time on the query letter, on the synopsis and so on. And you have to make sure that it's personalized to that particular company or agent. So it's very time consuming, and of course, obviously, if you get rejected, it's disappointing. So it takes a long time. Patience is the tricky thing, and I don't have patience. I'm not a patient person, so that's been my biggest challenge. Really trying to cope with that aspect of it has been very hard for me.
Yeah.
And then of course, I was very fortunate to find a publisher, and then of course you have to wait your turn, and then there's all the process you go through, the editing, and then choosing the book cover. Those things I found to be quite exciting. They weren't chores at all. They were fine. I didn't have a problem with any of that. That part was great. The launch was a lot of work, but that was also very positive. I think the biggest challenge is going to be promoting the book now, because how do you let lots and lots of people know about the book? I think that's probably the biggest challenge.
Well, what do you know now about writing itself that you wish you'd known in the beginning?
Well, I think that the people who write love to do it, if they've chosen to write, of course, because not very many people if they make any money, not many people make a lot of money. It's certainly not for money that you do it. It's in your soul. You write, and that's very true. And I suppose if I guess one thing that would be nice, it would have been good if I could have started writing earlier, sort of putting so many hours a day in much earlier on, because obviously then you have more time to get established, but that's okay. I can do it anyway, I think. I'm sure I can do it anyway.
Well, is there anything that you would like to say at this point that you think that I haven't asked you?
Well, I guess if I was giving advice, I'd say, keep trying. Don't give up with it, which is, of course, a bit trite to say. But if you're a person like myself who's not patient, it's a great way of learning to be more patient. That's for sure. And in the end, it will work. I'm quite convinced that if you're determined enough, it will pay off.
It's sort of the tortoise and the hare, isn't it?
Yes.
You just keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Well, I think of how far we've both come in the 2 or 3 years since we met, and it's just keep, every day do something new, and put, one foot in front of the other, isn't it?
And you meet so many great people, of course. That's the other positive thing about it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, my guest today has been Sheila Gale. Again, Sheila is the author of Dottie Flowers and the Skinner Gang. And Sheila has just published this book, and it's really in its launch phase at the moment. She has a second one that she has finished, and she has the third one that she's now starting to work on. She's hoping to do 5 in the series. So if you're someone who loves series, then you need to pick up Dottie Flowers and the Skinner Gang. Thanks, Sheila.
Thank you very much. Thank you.